Welcome back to the Mind and Money podcast. I'm Val, a financial planner.
And I'm Sherry, a financial coach. And today I just got inspired while we took a podcast recording break from an account on Instagram. And I think I've seen her on TikTok too, called I Organize Everything. And she's leaning into and sharing about organization techniques for the neurospicy brains. And of course, we love that. I think the video that I saw today that sparked my attention was she was sitting in a recliner lazy boy with a table beside her. And she said, if you do this, and she was like opening something and putting the trash on the table. And then she showed herself picking up the trash and then walking it across the room and putting it in the garbage. She said, if you do this, do this. And she showed the next clip where she has a garbage right where that table was so that it was easy and accessible and saved a step because you can just not put it on the table and put it right in the trash. And as somebody who has a trash can right beside myself in the living room, I highly recommend it.
The other one was, and it's noticing things that you do and then doing what works for you to adopt to that habit. So if you have a spouse or someone that you live with, or you yourself drop your laundry in a certain place, put a hamper there. Like make it make sense for you. I've seen people that have garbage bags and or garbage, like mini garbage cans in their vehicles.
I've seen cereal, like Rubbermaid cereal containers repurposed for vehicle trash cans.
Love that. That's a great idea. Okay. So what are you doing in your house that works for your brain, but maybe isn't typical?
Yeah. Multiple garbage cans. I think we have more garbage cans in our home than most people do, but also putting things where it makes sense, where maybe they traditionally go. And she did a different series about where do I put this? And she would be holding up some random item that might not naturally have a spot to go in your home. And one example was an X-Acto knife. And her blurb was you put it with its siblings or with its coworkers. So siblings with other tools or knives or cutting implements. And then with its coworkers was where do you use it? And one example in my home is there is an X-Acto knife that sits on the ledge right above our recycling bin. So it's with its coworkers, it hangs out, and it then eliminates a step of, oh shit, I have to break this box down and it's got tons of tape on it. And now maybe I'm just going to leave it here and walk away and not come back to it. But oh, look, handy knife right there.
I would love to know the random things that people have in random places. Like one of mine is on the Lazy Susan in the center of our table. I always have a lint roller. So it's accessible. It's right there. Because if nieces and nephews come over, we have pets. And if they wear black pants, I'm like, yeah, it's on the table. Like, just grab it. I don't have to give you directions. I don't have to open the door. There is one in a close by closet, but it's there. Is it appealing visually? No.
But it's practical. And we don't design our homes to look like they're in a home and garden spread.
No.
I mean, I don't anyways, because that's not conducive to
living.
Yeah. Like the home is for living in, not for people's viewing pleasure. And I put a lot of things on horizontal surfaces. Our bathroom has a shit ton of storage, but I have a clear thing from the dollar store where I put toothbrush, toothpaste, the skincare stuff that I use every day. It's right there. It's easy. It's accessible.
So then share about the island here at the cottage and how the two different brains respect the island.
So I go back and forth from the cottage a lot, especially in the summer. And there are things that have to come back and forth with me. And I'm going to expand on this a little bit further too. We have a bin that always comes back and forth. And if there's something that needs to come to the cottage at home, it goes in the bin. And the same here. If it needs to go home and it's not something that I'm going to use before I go home, it goes back in the bin because that bin is always, it's getting a lot of miles on it. But if something is at the cottage and needs to go home and is being used and can't go in a bin, my rule is it needs to stay on a horizontal surface that is either the dining room table or the large island that we have here. And if you move it, the item is not coming home unless you, the person that moved it, is going to make sure it comes home. Like the box of cereal my husband put on top of the fridge. Or one time a thing of tortillas that he put in a cupboard. I got home that one time, like, where are the tortillas? We need them for dinner. I put them in the cupboard. Didn't you get them? Hell no.
It's like putting something in a drawer in the hotel room. I'm like, I'm gonna leave that.
Unless I'm putting all of my clothes in the drawer.
Yes.
Then, my suitcase is empty. Where are my clothes? But if I just put something that like if I'm in a temporary location and all the things need to come with me, they need to be visual or not leave my suitcase.
I also, though, like for the horizontal surfaces, like islands and stuff at home, before I had more of a system, I just needed to like stack stuff up to see more space. Like my brain was overwhelmed. If you lay out 4 pieces of mail, like 1, 2, 3, 4, I just want that to be in a pile.
Yeah, it needs to take up as little real estate on the
Footprint
island
as possible.
because, and I was doing some organizing of a bin that had been around forever and just full of stuff. But in that bin, I found really shallow kind of wicker basket things, but they're the size of an 8x10 sheet of paper. And I'm like, well, this is awfully convenient because I tend to stack papers up on the living room and the dining room table. And instead of just them being, I'll put them in these bins now. And it's going to make the veins in some people's neck pop out to have just papers sitting there, but they need to go somewhere or they don't have a home or they need to be remembered to do something. Like, for example, our insurance slips were on a dining room table when we got pulled over and didn't have them. So they got a ticket because we didn't have them. And the nice officer thankfully allowed us time to provide said slips to not get a larger ticket for being uninsured because we weren't. So it doesn't always work, but it makes my brain feel so much better that things are in a basket and not just on the table, even though they're still stacked up exactly the same.
So you also mentioned, and I do this too, like the ADHD brain likes less steps, but then also likes more steps. It's like, it's a weird thing. Like when I have client paperwork, I put it into a bulk file and then I have a bulk filing session. So yes, it's more steps than just putting it right into their file, but it's more efficient in terms of focus time.
Are you talking about physical paperwork or virtual?
Physical.
I also have a file for paperwork that needs to be filed.
Yes, and it literally says to be filed personal or to be filed business.
Oh, mine are just all together. It's unhinged, business and personal together. But I don't have a lot of paperwork that's business related, a receipt here and there, but I've actually captured it with like QuickBooks receipt snap. So I don't have like client specific paperwork to manage because that's all virtual. And again, it's that what can we do to reduce the number of barriers or steps for us to do something and to get paperwork taking a step towards the filing system. The easiest low barrier is to have a to be filed.
Yes.
But then the example that she shared was she had 2 bins that were, or 2 dishes that were both labeled coins. One had a lid and one didn't. Like when it's something like that, if it has a lid, you have to take the lid off, put the coins in, put the lid back on. And if you have something else in your other hand, it's just easier to toss the coins in something that doesn't have a lid and to remove a lid from a filing box if you've got the space for it to just be there and easily accessible all the time. So think about what you do with items. And I was thinking about this the other day. Lots of people with ADHD are prone to losing their keys, losing their wallet, losing a debit card. And I was reflecting that doesn't happen to me very often, except when I put important things in safe places. RIP to Haley's birth certificate. But I come in the door and I have a wicker basket on a wire shelf that my purse and my keys go into.
Yes.
And when I'm at the cottage, my purse hangs on the back of a specific chair. And I have places that things go that I use consistently so that they don't get lost, but they're not just open the closet, hang up the coat. We have open coat hooks at home with open shelving for Jason's hats. And I think really open storage where you can see things so then you can remember that you still have them is helpful.
Or like having the place for them. That's such a huge ticket. Is I used to be like, I just don't want to go in with a purse. I just want to have my card and my keys. Ideally have pants with pockets, but the amount of times that my card would end up in the wash or somewhere else that I didn't know where it was. So I was like, you just need to start carrying your wallet. And then I just put it in a bag, and my bag has a lot of fun things in it, but they're all things that I'm like, oh yeah. And it's a tote with like 4 pockets on the outside. And until I finally organized them and was like, this is where this goes, this is where this goes, I was really hating the bag because everything was everywhere. But I was like, well, if I just remember this side has, like, sometimes I'll have a protein bar in it, or this side has my lip stuff in it, then it helps me to not misplace things because it has a home. And then there is like a dopamine to putting things back in their home. You're like, oh yeah, that's where you belong.
And how many times have I said to myself, don't put it down, put it away, don't put it down, put it away, to my island at home that has big drawers that the scissors go in. Well, the one pair of kitchen scissors go in, and I'll cut something and then I'll put it on the island. I'm like, no. Like, put it away. The drawer's right there. You have to take 0 steps. You just have to pull it out. And also knowing that when you go into somebody else's home, just because it looks organized does not mean it's organized. Visually is not necessarily a clue to understand how organized somebody is. If you go into my bathroom and you're like, she's got all these cabinets, but there's stuff in this thing on the counter, like that looks messy.
Right.
But it is organized. That's where those things go versus you could go into somebody's bedroom and do not recommend, obviously, like start opening up their drawers and they could be a shit show, or they could have a living room where they've got those like
the ottoman with the storage.
Yeah. And you open it up and it's just a giant junk drawer because so things look visually decluttered. They just stash things.
So there's also been times before I host people that I will move things that are normally out, but they create clutter, and I'll just put them in my bedroom or put them in the basement, and I'll bring them out after the party. But it's just to create more space.
Yeah.
But if you open that drawer, you'd be like, what are you doing? Now, there's also right now, I called it a clutter corner. And it's a random bag from a night away, some totes that need to be sorted, and some sleeping bags that need to be put away from camping. And I need to deal with this corner, but I'll put it all in one place.
Yeah.
In my house. So I'm like, okay, this is my pile.
This is my to do something with. And I often have steps up to the second floor that have things on them. I'll come home from the grocery store and have something that needs to go to the bathroom and it goes on the step, and I might walk by it multiple times, but eventually it gets to where it needs to go versus if I just left it in a shopping bag and hung it somewhere, it's probably just going to stay there and then I'm not going to know where it is. And then I'm going to buy another one because I don't remember buying the original one that I bought.
And part of keeping, what did you say? Like siblings together or coworkers?
Oh, yeah.
So keeping them together, then you know what you have. So if you, not necessarily all in the same cupboard, I keep one baking soda in the kitchen, but then I have more in the basement. I have a little stockpile that I think I've spoke about before, but I keep them all together down there. So if I run out of something upstairs, okay, I go downstairs. If I don't have it down there, then obviously I need to restock it. But then I don't, like phone chargers, I know is a big one in some households. So how they can be spread out and like, yes, you can never have too many, but also then you can have too many and you're like, I will never use all of these.
And also there's something just nice about being in a house with 2 adults where you just leave the phone chargers where they need to be and you don't steal them and take them somewhere and then not bring them home. It's really refreshing. It's lovely.
Some of our listeners are probably like, yeah, we're not there. We're not there.
But I also saw something on Amazon where you could put the charging block, like they had these outlets essentially that made it so that you couldn't take the charger unless you took the outlet. It's very aggressive, but I needed someone starting. And she also mentioned starting to label things temporarily. So if you reorganize a set of drawers and make it lower effort, just put a label on it for a short period of time until you get used to what's in there. So you're not having to open 6 drawers to find something. But I also think simplifying what you have, and this comes up pretty often too, but we were talking about underwear earlier this week, really lowering the bar for the mental energy too, is if you have a pair of underwear that you love, the next time you're buying underwear, buy that on repeat. If you have 10 pairs of all of the same underwear and all of the same color, then you're just like, you're not deciding, oh, is today a good underwear day? Or am I taking, like, I'm going to run soon, so I just need a pair of underwear for an hour and then I'm going to take them off.
You also don't end up with a lot of stuff. Like I can remember when Victoria's Secret, and they probably still do it, or like Pink, they'd have the 5 for whatever. But I would buy so many different types and colors and fits, and I would not, like, then I would not like most of them, but I'd have so much underwear.
And you'd try them, you're like, ooh, I don't really like these. I also, like, in my recent purchases of underwear, there was a couple that I thought were a different style because I couldn't really tell online. I'm like, oh, those are like these ones that I have that I like. It turns out they're not, and I don't really like them. And I'm just, it's interesting because I've spent money on them.
But you're not going to wear
them. They're going to sit at the bottom of my drawer. So why would I keep them? But then also several pairs of them I haven't worn. But I'm not going to donate underwear, to be clear. But I also don't really feel right. They're probably going to sit on top of my dresser for a while, and then
you'll throw them out.
Maybe I'll try and give them to friends. Be like, these are clean. They don't fit me well. Do you want to try them?
Yeah, that's a good vibe.
Because, oh yeah. Does anybody ever donate underwear? Anyways, don't. It's not a good vibe, unless they have tags on them.
Well, then that's different.
They have tags on them. Then I believe that's acceptable.
Different.
But really the heart of it was the organization of doing things that align with how you're already doing them to get things slightly more organized. So one was about shoes. So if you take your shoes off and you just kick them aside, she recommended like a low bin so that you can just kick them into the bin and then they're there. You might have to dig through them depending on how many pairs of shoes are in your household, or onto a shelf. Like if you're kicking them, but you've got a floor level shelf. So thinking about what you do, where you put things, that is like the resting place before you put them where they're supposed to go. And can you make that resting place a more permanent place, but that works for you from an organizational standpoint?
Yeah. Making it make more sense. Use ChatGPT, like go scroll for inspiration, but even if you put in like what you want to store, what the storage, area looks like, it might have recommendations on what containers you should have, how to organize it, how to cluster things.
Just visual, like a knife block versus open, obviously depending on the age of any children in your house, but an open magnet that you put the blades on so you can easily see which one, versus a knife block. Be like, I'm looking for the bread knife. You pull it up, no. And then you've got to pull out 7 knives that have the same handle until you find the one that works for you. So leaning into what do I need? Do I need to see it visually? So then should my containers be clear if I'm putting them away somewhere? Or what really is going to work for your brain? What things are creating barriers to organization for you? And is your brain creating barriers to what organization looks like based on what it looks like for neurotypical brains? Because our brains aren't normal. So if you have a garbage bin in your living room, that's okay. And if people care about it, then find different people.
Yes. So work with what works for you. If you have to explain it to a neurotypical in your household, why it works for you, so they stop putting it away, just be like, hey, this is why I put this here. It helps me. Awesome.
Yep. Yeah. I had where are the Cheerios? Oh, they're on the fridge at the cottage. I put them on the fridge. Yeah, they're still at the cottage. Oh, good luck. And I said, like, if you put them here, this will happen. If you put them out of the area that I purposely make sure is cleared before we go home, then they'll get to
making it in the sweep.
Yeah.
Making it in the sweep.
So just, helping people in your life, in your household, understand the systems in your brain. Because one thing I find too is sometimes we think everybody just gets our systems, and they don't unless we tell them.
They don't.
Our loved ones cannot read our minds.
No.
I know it's very upsetting, but it's the truth.
Yeah.
So if you've got any systems that work for you, we'd love to hear about them. Shoot us a DM or comment on one of our videos on social media, because often when we see what's working for somebody else, it can be an eye-opening aha moment. So
yes. Thanks for listening on the Mind and Money podcast.
Take care.